A Brighter Sun, Chapter 10. The cost of living rose in 1943 from 177 points to 194, and an old Negro woman, purporting to be a seer and dressed as one, stood in front of a court in St. Vincent Street and bawled out that the world was coming to an end and the first building to fall would be the Red House. A young Chinese journalist looking for a human story saw her and wrote a report. Her picture appeared in the evening news. Imported foodstuffs were reduced to the barest minimum. Entertainment was taxed, transport facilities curtailed, shopping hours shortened, and earnest consideration given to the introduction of rationing. A colored girl fainted in Frederick Street one day, worrying because she had an American soldier friend and hadn't seen her time of the month. The campaign to grow more food was intensified. Cane farmers especially were called upon to safeguard the future of the industry by pressing forward with their planting, thus also providing work for the populace when construction of the United States bases ceased. The Education Board approved new scales of salaries for teachers. A rent restriction bill passed, but people who urgently wanted houses didn't mind paying what ruthless owners asked. Those who cooperated found themselves hounded by the owners until they had to leave. The governor went to London and came back and said he had found a greatly increased interest in the colonies and in colonial affairs, and some people put their hands to their mouths and smiled. In La Brea, south of the island, a man walking through the fields from work late at night fled in terror when he saw a giant donkey, about 20-30 feet high, appear out of darkness. Another report from a lonely district was that a man and his wife had stumbled over a coffin in the center of a darkened road. A man appeared in court for murder, having chopped off his wife's head with a cutlass. As the Caribbean was fraught with peril on account of submarines, the government agreed to accept responsibility for loss by enemy action of cargoes shipped to and from Barbados, 200 miles away. A new colonial secretary arrived, and the island was host to 5 Venezuelan cabinet ministers and their wives during an official visit. The road rapidly advanced. Boulders and gravel from the Laventil quarry and other sites were brought in by trucks. Where the land was soft, stones were laid 2 feet deep. Then gravel stones, consisting chiefly of different kinds of quartz obtained from riverbeds in the northern range, were laid. Military traffic was allowed to run on the surface to level it out. When defective spots showed up, the work had to be done all over again, giving a completely new foundation. The rainy season came. Rain lashed the earth and flooded the rivers, carrying away crops and livestock. The sun would shine brilliantly in the morning, but by midday, hovering clouds would mass and it rained heavily for hours, sometimes through the night and the following day. Tiger got up one night. 2 things woke him. The roof was leaking and he was wet, and his wife was groaning. He ignored the leak. Mila, he whispered, shaking her. You sick bad? You want me go take you to doctor? The girl moaned. She had been sick for weeks, growing worse. Pains all over her body. She had a fever. Give me some of the medicine you get from the drugstore, she said, gasping. But these nights like you're getting worse. Really, I think I'm going to the doctor. He was frightened for himself. Everything had been going wrong, though he was making plenty money. And if that was happening, it was only himself to blame. It had started out all right, until the night he brought the chief and Mr. Larry home. Then after that a blur came before his eyes, and it wouldn't go, no matter how much he rubbed them or shook his head. A sort of haze, as if he couldn't see properly. Joe and Rita were not talking to him, though they came to see Miller. They acted as if he wasn't there at all, and he felt a burning shame, but he was too proud to let them see. He ignored them too. Whenever they came, he left, walking in the rain, rubbing his eyes. He went by Boise and played cards, or he went to San Juan to see a film, or he just stayed out alone in the night, walking until he was not aware of motion, arguing with himself. He didn't want to drink, but sometimes, with nothing else to do, he found himself in the rum shop. And the next he knew he was drunk. Once Joe pulled him up. Joe said, "What happening to you? You can't see your wife sick bad. You're getting on like a little boy still. If I was a father, I'd beat you till you can't stand up." "Mind your business," he snarled back. "I'm capable of managing my own affairs." But Joe had scared him. He went to the drugstore and bought some medicine. Still, it looked like Ermila wasn't getting any better, coughing and choking in the night, fighting to breathe. He didn't know what to tell her when he lay next to her. He only rolled and tossed in his sleep and ground his teeth. Even the road had lost interest for him, though the work had progressed and it was in shape, a level stretch winding down behind the village. Even the job was distasteful, and one day he had told the foreman, "Look, I don't want to do this checking work no more. Put me back with the working gang. Let me do hard work." And he went back smashing boulders and pounding into the land, and rain washed his perspiration away. And still he worked, day after day, thinking that he would get so tired he wouldn't lay awake in the night and hear Ermila groaning. He learned to drive a bulldozer because he wanted to hurl it against the land and the trees. When he sat down in the seat, he felt the power beneath him, and he dug up the land and crushed the bushes and wished it had more speed so he could smash into a tree and hear the sound of the impact and how the fibers in the truck tore apart. But 1 week of this, and he realized that it was the bulldozer and not himself who was doing the work. And he went back with the road gang again. And the foreman said that if he wanted a next transfer, he could haul his tail right back home. He got up and dressed. "Ermila," he whispered, "I'm going to get a doctor. I can't bear to see you suffering, so man. Don't afraid to stay alone. I go come back quick." "Tiger, ask Rita to stay with me till you come back." "It's too late, man. They must be gone sleep already. I won't stay long. I go take taxi and go come." He went out, pulling an old felt hat over his head. The yard was flooded with muddy water, and the rose mango tree shook heavy drops onto the roof when the wind blew. He shivered a little and kept his eyes wide open for holes of mud in the road. When the rainy season started, the estate people had sent trucks with a kind of loose red gravel to fill the holes. But these were only muddy pools now. Progress was too slow watching out for the holes in the darkened streets, so he walked on the grass at the side. The night was deserted. He stood by the main road for 5 minutes before he was able to stop a taxi. He asked the driver if he knew where a doctor was living. "Which doctor?" "Anyone, man. My wife sick bad, and I have to get one right away. Do, quick." "So what about the passenger I have in the back?" The passenger, a young man from the city who had attended a Dutch party in San Juan, got out. "It's all right, pal. I would catch another taxi." "Thanks, man," Tiger said and got in. "They have a doctor in San Juan," the driver said, reversing in 6th Avenue. "He's an Indian doctor, live in Santa Cruz Old Road. Let me try there first." The wheels squelched on the wet asphalt, and the headlights cut across lances of rain. Tiger got out and pounded at the door. It was after midnight, and the wind rustled through the trees and drops of water fell, with a distinct sound apart from the rain, keeping up a monotonous patter on the galvanized roofs. After what seemed to him for hours of waiting, a light went on and a cautious voice, "Who is there?" "It's me, doctor," Tiger shouted. "My wife sick too bad." "Who is it?" "A man from Barrett area, doctor. You don't know me." "Well, what you expect me to do? What's wrong with our man?" "I don't know, doctor. That is why I come. But she's sick bad. Do, quick. Please, doctor. I will pay you good." "Give me your address." The voice still came from inside. "I'll come in the morning and see her." "But it's now she's sick, doctor." "Oh, come back in the morning, man. Rain falling. It must be just a belly ache. Give her some hot soda to drink." And the light went out. "But," Tiger looked at the windows. "This is a hell of a thing," he said to the driver. "I can't understand this thing at all. You sure is a Indian, doctor?" "But how you mean if I sure? I living in San Juan from the time I small. You go ask me if I sure. I must know." "It look like you out of luck. Let we try somewhere else then. It have a Creole doctor in Laventil." "But I still can't understand this kind of thing," Tiger kept saying as the car drove through the rain. "Ain't he a doctor?" "It's so when you're poor and not in society, Papa," the driver said. "Boy, if I tell you about some of the doctors in this place, you're dead." "But who say I'm poor? I was going to pay him anything he asks for." "Still, look at you. He must be peeped from the window and sees a coolie boy standing up there pounding his door. You think them doctor go leave their bed to go and look at any poor sick coolie woman this hour of the night? You crazy." "Well, it might be worse if this man here is a Creole doctor." "Go try, man," the driver said, stopping in front of the house on the main road. Tiger bawled out, "Good night, doctor, good night." Again, a light went on. Again, a voice said, "Who is that?" Only the voice was arrogant this time. "He's a man from Barrett area, doctor. My wife's sick too bad. I'm frightened. You could come now, please? I have a car waiting here. We could go back right away." "Are you a patient of mine? Have I ever attended to you or your wife before? Who is your regular doctor?" "No, doctor, but please come quick. She's sick too bad." "I'm afraid you'll have to come back in the morning, my good man. It's only a few hours more. She won't die." And the light went out. "But this is a hell of a country," Tiger exclaimed. "You mean I can't get a doctor to come and see my wife just because it's night and rain falling?" "We could try Port of Spain," the driver said. "But I only hope you're paying me good for this job. But there might be worse, you know, as is only big shot white doctor that I know." Anyway, he reckoned his increasing fear. "Come go. I know a good doctor in St. Clair." "This time I go be lucky," Tiger said, getting out in the rain. "Look, he have a brass sign on the door here saying he's a doctor." There was a bell hanging near the door, and he rang it loudly and waited, lighting a cigarette and throwing the pack to the driver. This time someone came to the door. It was the doctor himself, a white man with a robe pulled on hurriedly over his pajamas. "Yes, what is it?" he asked, then added, "Coming out of the rain." Tiger stammered, Sir, my wife's sick too bad. Afraid something might happen. You could come?" "Where do you live?" the doctor asked. "In Barataria, sir. Not too far from here. Don't mind if I looking poor, sir. I have plenty money to pay, and a car waiting outside to bring you back too. Don't mind I'm not in your society, sir. I tried 2 other doctor, and they said to wait till morning. But she's sick bad, sir. A long time, but it's like it take worse tonight." All right. Give me a few minutes to get dressed. You could send the taxi away. We'll go in my car. Do you know exactly what's wrong?" Tiger hesitated. "No, sir, but you have plenty pain." "Pregnant?" "What you say, sir?" "Is she gonna have a baby?" "Oh, not now, sir. Plenty time yet." The doctor hurried inside, and Tiger went out to the driver and paid him. "Well, look at that him, boy. You want people let you down, and is a white man who going to see your wife? Well, yes." "I will never forget tonight, boy," Tiger told him, and watched the taxi drive off, thinking bitterly. "Don't be too worried," the doctor said. "She's probably gonna have to have her baby before the time. It happens to many people." The car turned off the main road into the village. "Mind the road, sir," Tiger said. "It have plenty hole." "I've heard about it." Tiger lit the lamp and stood by the doctor. He was kneeling on the floor, feeling her pulse. "How do you feel, girl?" he asked kindly, and Ermila groaned and pointed to her stomach. "How long have you been How long since you knew you were gonna have a child?" About 6 months, doctor," she whispered. He got up and addressed Tiger. "Your wife is very ill," he said. "You'll have to be very careful with her. She's very weak and mustn't do a stroke of work, you understand? And let her keep in bed very quiet. Nothing must disturb her." He looked at Chandra sleeping in the hammock. "Who delivered this first child?" "My neighbor, sir, a Creole woman named Rita." The doctor nodded slowly. "I'm gonna give you a prescription. See that she takes the medicine regularly, and it may be as well if you let a professional doctor or a midwife attend to her when her time comes. It may be complicated. Something may happen which your neighbor does not understand anything about. You follow?" Tiger nodded. "Is all right, sir. Nothing wrong with she?" "How do you mean nothing's wrong with her?" "My dear man, if she gets out of bed and exerts herself, it may be fatal. It's up to you to care for her. Nothing more I can do." "Doctor," Tiger said, "I don't know how to tell you how I appreciate that you come. I thank you very much. Is how much I owe you, sir?" "The fee is usually $2 for visiting sick people, my boy." "What? Only that, doctor? After you take all the trouble to leave your house in Port of Spain and come quite up here in the village?" The doctor smiled and looked around the hut. He took a phial of pills from his case. "And these are 2 shillings. They'll help her to keep asleep." "Doctor, if it's anything you want any time, just tell me. I know how things hard to get now, but I will get the best for you. Big tomato, fresh lettuce. You seeing any trouble to get meat in Port of Spain? I could fix you up with our butcher here." "I manage all right, but thank you all the same. Look, it have some tomatoes here still. I grow them myself. Take some, doctor. $2 is too little bit of money for all your trouble. You is a good man, doctor. You don't belong to this country? Where you come from? England?" The doctor put on his hat and yawned. "Oh, yes. Wish I was back there now. Well." He stretched and said good night, and Tiger went out in the rain with him and put the bag of tomatoes in the back seat. He gave Ermila one of the tablets, and she dropped off into a deep sleep. He lay there smoking and thinking. He didn't go to work the next day. He went in search of the Indian doctor in San Juan. When he found the place, he told the nurse, a middle-class Indian girl, that he wanted to see the doctor. "You have to wait," she said, pointing to the patients who were sitting in chairs looking at magazines. He sat down. Then he got up and paced the floor to keep moving. The door behind the nurse opened, and the doctor appeared, holding onto the knob. "Who is next, please?" he called in a pleasant voice. "Is I next, but I don't have to go inside. I could tell you what I have to say right here," Tiger shouted, and he swallowed hard for the words to come. "It have a lot of you people who have money and big profession, and have car and moving in high society. But for all that, all you ain't have no mind. All you only do is plain doctor. But all you don't even know what the word mean. All you don't have pity. All you don't know what it is to suffer." "Who is this man?" The doctor turned his head to the nurse. "I don't know. He just come in." "Who is this man? Hear him," Who is this man? Is the man who come last night begging you to go and see if his wife is sick bad, and you turn out the light in my face. That is who it is. But a day will come when all you can treat people like that. Tears came to his eyes as he choked. That is all I have to tell you. He walked out of the office swinging his arms, and the patients stood up in their chairs open-mouthed, and the doctor said, laughing uneasily, "He must be a madman, but we can't keep the people waiting. I don't suppose any of you happen to know him or where he's from." Tiger found the taxi was traveling too slow because he didn't want the anger in him to go away. He got off in Laventille. The Negro doctor had just returned from a visit to a patient in Success Village near the city. He turned up the windshields of the baby Ford and put the switch key in his pocket. Vagabonds in the district went about tampering with cars, and whenever he parked it, he made sure the doors were locked and there was no way of getting inside. "You call yourself a doctor?" Tiger cried. "I beg your pardon?" the doctor asked in a cultured voice, slightly raising his eyebrows. Tiger laughed bitterly. "I beg your pardon. You know all the pretty words, but I shame of all you Trinidad doctor. You know what happened last night? Let me tell you. Don't go yet," holding on to his arm. "You're talking like a social man. Well, you don't know his manners to listen when somebody talking to you. Let me tell you. First, I went to a coolie doctor. Yes, a coolie like myself. You know what he do? He out the light in my face. Then I come by you. You don't want me to tell you what you do. You know that for yourself. But you know who I even get eventually? You know? You don't know. He's a white man. Yes, a white doctor from England who don't even belong to this country. Is he who come quite from Port of Spain to see my wife. All you ain't shame. You own people you doing that to? And I say again, man, look, who is it that come? A big white man. Look here, my good man, the doctor began, tugging away his arm and eyeing the crowd Tiger's shouts had attracted. Don't use any fancy phrase on me, man. Don't call me a good man. You don't even know me. So you could know if I good. But at least I is a Trinidadian like yourself. And it was a white man who had to come to poor Tiger Hut to see his wife. While you and the other nasty coolie man who say he's a doctor too didn't want to come. It's night. Rain falling. What happened? You must be thought I didn't have money to pay. He pulled out a wad of bills from his pocket. Look. He wet his thumb with his tongue and flicked the notes. Look. Money. Plenty. It's not bad money. It's as good as anybody else own. The doctor eyed the crowd again and turned his back on Tiger and walked quickly up the steps to his office. What happened, partner? What it is? Somebody fighting? That was a doctor you're talking so to, boy. You're brave. Tiger spun around. Nothing much, man. It's just these damn people who have money and moving in society who does laugh and spit on we poor people. He talked to the crowd. Last night my wife was sick bad, you see, so I come in a taxi looking for a doctor. Two of them I try. The Indian one in San Juan and this one here. You know what they do? They tell me to come back tomorrow. And they out the light in my face. But the hurtful part, man, the part that hurt me most is that I had to go quiet in Port of Spain, in St. Clair. And we think I get a white doctor, man. You don't see how that is a shame. I mean, you don't see how white man must always laugh at we colored people because we so stupid. You don't see why it is that black people can't get on in this country at all. The people murmured in agreement. A wrong done to one was a wrong done to all. Same thing happened when my old queen was sick. No doctor won't come. We had was to wait till morning. Boy, you never hear thing yet. If I tell you about the time when black people could never raise in this world. My daughter did sick, but I won't send she by him. But what we're going to do about this, man? Tiger cried. How long this type of thing going to happen? Why the people who ruling we don't do something about it? Why we ourselves don't do something about it? It's true. It's true. Keep your mouth quiet. You know anything about it? You know what we're talking about? Trinidadians only does talk. They don't do nothing. He own people like let him down. You went and cursed the coolie doctor too? The crowd dispersed slowly, arguing and gesticulating. It was a long time before they went about their business. Every day it rained heavily, and weeds and grasses shot up in the air overnight, and there were many jobs for those who had cutlasses and hoes, going from house to house, cleaning the yards. Even in the drains grass grew, and estate labourers cleaned them, draining the stagnant water and banking the black mud at the sides to prevent mosquitoes breeding. The roads were in a muddy mess, so flooded at times as to be entirely impassable on foot. Only the farmers and the poorer people without shoes waded across the pools, and the children splashed in the water, and the ducks shook their tails and bathed. Tiger worked far from home, in country districts where he made new friends. He worked ferociously, straining his body to the utmost. The sun never lasted long enough to dry the land, but it made no difference to him. He liked to work in the rain just as much as the sun. There were times when he came home so exhausted that he just dropped down and went to sleep right away. All round, relationships were better. The past seemed to have been forgotten, and only the future mattered. Rita attended to her miller and cooked sometimes for him, though she avoided having any words with him. There was nothing he could do about it. He couldn't stay away from work now. Joe met him in the shop and spoke casually, as if nothing had ever happened between them. But they never drank together. He knew what Joe was thinking about him. The season of mangoes came, and the rose mango tree in the yard bloomed, and Tiger knew it was all going to happen again. Another child, another night of thought. He didn't bother to pray for a boy child. He wasn't very enthusiastic. It didn't seem to matter whether it was a boy or a girl. What had to happen, had to happen. But it mattered a great deal to her miller. Only a boy child could bring Tiger back to her as he used to be. A boy child would change him. They would be happy again as the first time, and the family would come from Chaguanas and they would celebrate. She knew it was going to be more painful this time, although Rita had said that after the first child it would be easier. But she wasn't feeling well. She was very sick. She used to imagine the pain and fight against it, practicing for when the time really came. One night she said to Tiger, "Rita helping us a lot still, you know. She is a good woman." Tiger pulled hard at a cigarette. "Tiger, I want you to promise me one thing. If I plant you, you will grow?" "Well, it depends. What it is?" "You must let Rita deliver the baby. Don't mind you vex with them." "But girl, ain't I tell you what the doctor say? You have to have a doctor, man. He say it might be complicated. And you forget that Rita ain't no nurse. I mean, something might happen which you don't know about." "Tiger, I'm begging you. Rita know what she doing. I don't want no doctor. Rita like a mother to me." "But girl, this thing's serious. The doctor know what he talking about. He's a big professional and he tell me that is the best thing to do. If something to happen, I'd rather it happen with Rita than any doctor. Please, Tiger, I'm begging you. Let she see about me." Rita broke the silence the next evening. "Tiger, you know your wife want me to deliver she baby?" Tiger nodded. "You know the doctor says she not well. You know I not no midwife or nurse or anything. You don't want a midwife to come and see she. I have one living just up the road, you know." "What her miller say?" "She says she want me alone and nobody else. But you don't have to listen to what she say. You have to make up your mind too. I ain't no doctor. It's true, I deliver many children. But I want you to know in front that I can't stand no responsibility for anything that happen. Joe telling me, don't do this thing. And I really going against my mind. Well, let we get a midwife here, Rita. Let we get somebody to examine she. What I must do? I don't know anything about that sort of thing. He flung his hands helplessly in the air. Well, go see the midwife. She named Miss Roberts. She living near the railway line by 8th Avenue. Miss Roberts, a middle-class, middle-aged colored woman, had a sign on her gate reading, Registered Midwife. She promised to visit Ermila the next day, and she did. After the examination, she said, there is still a week or so to go. I have to be in town on another case for the rest of this week. If you want, you could take another midwife, and I won't charge you for this visit. But it have time is alright, because you're coming back from town next week. You don't think so, Rita? Rita looked doubtful and hesitated, but Ermila said, it's alright, and I have you, Rita. Tiger worked with his mind easier. Everything looked like it was going to come out all right, and from that day he began to pray for a boy child. Not too fervently. He prayed, God, I want a boy child too bad, but if you send a girl, it's all right, but a boy would make me happier. It happened on a windy and raining night, earlier than they had expected, with the roof still leaking and the midwife in Port of Spain. The extension cord came through the window. Joe helped. Rita asked Tiger, you have any rum in the house? Pour a good shot for me, a trembling. Tiger was nervous too. He had one with her. You think I should go for a doctor, Rita? You sure is all right? She put down the glass and held his shoulders. Look, I'm not sure about anything tonight. I want you to know that I will do my best, but I can't stand no responsibility. You understand that? You sure you understand, Tiger? Rita, it's too late to go for a doctor. Watch how late it is and rain falling heavy. It ain't have time for that now. I'm beginning to think again that I should have keep out of this thing, yes? But it look like as if I can't help that now. Remember what I tell you, boy. Don't blame if it don't happen like how we want it. He nodded and looked away outside at the rain and the dark, feeling like a disaster was about to take place. And it was all his fault. Everything that had happened, he was the cause of it. He took Chandra sleeping in his arms and went over to Joe. This is a hell of a thing, boy, Joe said. You see how we come in all of your business? Do I warn Rita? I tell she to keep out of all your affairs. Now look what going to happen. She ain't no nurse. She don't know a damn thing about this case. The doctor say your wife's sick. Man, you should have get a doctor, man. Joe, you think I should go now? If I get a fast taxi and we speed to town and get the same doctor that come last time, the one who is only now you're thinking about that? It's too late now, man. We just have to wait and see what will happen. This is a big thing for me, Joe. You start talking like that again. You remember the last time how we sit down on the back step and fire and eat mango, and how you did say then that is a big thing? It looked to me like it going to be the biggest thing. Joe, life is a funny thing, boy. Yes, it too F up. Joe, look how much thing happened to me since I come up here to live. Look how we make friend and we vex, then we make friend again. Joe, a man should hold on to what he have. You don't think so? And I mean, he should be glad for what he have. He shouldn't want too much thing. He shouldn't plan too much about the future because he can't tell what's going to happen. Not true, Joe? You're now talking smart. And I mean, things like wife and children and a place to live and some food in his belly is enough for the time being. He shouldn't want to do big things right away. He should take time. He should wait for chances and opportunities. He should be grateful for what he have. Don't mind it small. I mean, if you have something small, your neighbor does always have something smaller. So you see, you are right. You know, Joe, the main thing is to be happy. Nothing else don't matter as long as you're happy. But if even you could read and write, if even you have plenty money, big car, big house, big shot friend, all of that don't matter if you're not happy. Not true, Joe? Like, starting to learn sense. Joe reached for a bottle of rum. Let me fire one. I'm feeling this thing just as much as you. Joe, boys, he say he going away after the war over. He say he going America. I ask him if he coming back, and he say he don't know. But I mean, this is a good country, Joe. It's only that we does let the government do as they like. And we does put the wrong men in the legislature to the man we rights for we. You don't think so, Joe? Go on talking. You're keeping my mind from thinking. And Joe, ain't all we does live good? Ain't Cooley does live good with nigger? It's only the white man who want to keep we down. And even so, it have some good one among them. You know something, Joe? They have good and bad all about. Don't matter if you're white or black. Sure. Boy, one day I go become a politician. It's politics that build a country. You know that, Joe? Why you don't think about going back to India? What I would go back there for, Joe? I born in this country. Trinidad is my land. And the way how things shaping up, it look like a lot of things will be happening here. Boy, people not as stupid as long time. This country young. It have a long way to go. Joe, you think everything going to be alright? You don't find Rita staying a long time. Like I could hear Ermila crying out hard. Fire one. You was telling me about the politics. Man, I don't know, man. Everything confusing my mind. Joe, is a funny thing. But I never grew up as Indian, Well, it's about 300 times you tell me that already. I mean, it looked to me as if everybody is the same. It have so many different kinds of people in Trinidad, boy. You think I should start to wear dhoti? Or I should dress as everybody else and don't worry about Indian so much? But think of all of we as a whole, living in one country, fighting for our rights. Man, I don't know about that now. Ain't you is a Trinidadian? Ain't you Creolized? What you worrying about? Well, somebody have to worry, Joe. If we stay stupid and let things happen to we all the time, we go always stay so poor and ignorant. That is the trouble with we, Joe. We does only talk and we don't do anything. We does always say we must do this and do that. And we sit down and we tell and don't do nothing. Boy, I don't know, man. Everything really confusing my mind, as if I can't think good. A fella was telling me the other day that he would prefer to live under the stars and stripes than a British bulldog. He said how much thing the Yankee do for this country since they come. Look how much modern machinery they have. Look how much more money they're paying with. Don't worry with he. He ain't tell you about how they does kick nigga over there in America and how they does kill them and shoot them down like dog. He ain't tell you about that. But how they have a big notice in the road saying nigga keep out. He ain't tell you about that nigga does catch the royal ass in the States. The Yankee dollar fooling a lot of them. Boy, I don't like the British, but if it come to the worst, I'd rather stay with them any day than live under American rule. I hear that one time America did ask England to give she Trinidad. It's a lucky thing that didn't happen. It would have been blood and sand in this place. I tell you, they better haul the tail out of this country quick if they know what's good for them. But listen, it ain't a way we could govern ourselves. Ain't it a thing called self-government? Yes, I hear about it. That is what we're fighting for now. But you yourself know how this place have so much different people. It gonna be a big fight. It's always white man for white man, coolie for coolie, and nigger for nigger. Boy, it have plenty small island in Trinidad now. St. Lucian, Grenadian, Barbadian. You know, they start long time to lay off people in the bases. It's like hell for all of them to find work now. The Yankee work finishing, so they would only have to go back where they did come from. They lapsed into a short silence. Joe, I was thinking, we mustn't get vexed again, you hear? All you is good neighbors, and you is my best friend now that took their dead and gone. We mustn't quarrel again. You too damn cheap. Your wife always borrowing something from Rita. Why you don't buy your own things? I saving up money. I don't want to plan too much about what I'm going to do. But things will change though. We go have a house just like you, and we won't have to borrow nothing. Rita appeared suddenly in the doorway. Oh God, you frightened me, Rita, Tiger exclaimed, leaping to his feet. Is what happened? Everything all right? Is a boy child? Yes, Tiger, is a boy child. Oh, I'm so glad. You hear, Joe? Is a boy. Oh, Miller. He noticed the look on Rita's face. Everything all right? Miller all right, Tiger, but the baby born dead. They used modern Barber Green equipment for the final stages of the road. A supply depot was established on the route, and trucks fed the machinery with gravel and asphalt. The asphalt came from the famous Pitch Lake in La Brea, a southern district. The gravel and asphalt were mixed and spread on the surface, and diesel rollers ran up and down. And the last thing was a 2-inch layer of finer material, which was the finishing touch. A short ceremony was held at the junction near the Eastern Main Road in Barataria for the opening of the road to civilians. Government officials and United States officers attended, as well as a few people from the cream of Port of Spain society. A thin blue ribbon across the road was cut, and it was christened the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway. The fame of it spread throughout the length and breadth of the island, and to the other islands in the West Indies, and it became known as the best road in the Caribbean. To Trinidadians it was just the highway. Drivers left their usual routes to run on it. Rich people took joy rides on it, delighting in the flow of speed, no bumps or cracks, as smooth as the sandy beach at Mayaro, a seaside resort. Donkey carts traveled on it. Cyclists raced on it. A young colored man took to exercising early in the morning, running for a half-mile on the highway. In the evenings, lovers strolled on it. Farmers brought out their produce to sell at the sides of it. It ran inland from Barataria to the American base called Fort Reed in the interior, and there was a constant flow of truck convoys of troops leaving the main road and getting on the highway to and from the city and the base. From the airport, visitors were driven on it, and they admired the scenery, sitting back and gliding along. The Americans put military policemen to patrol in jeeps and set a speed limit of 30 miles. But southbound vehicles took chances. It was almost impossible to resist accelerating on the highway. The car just sat and glided, and the wind from across the fields whistled through the windows. One day, a donkey cart was coming out from one of the gravel roads in the back of the village. The old Indian driving didn't see the car shooting down the highway, and it struck the cart. The donkey was killed instantly. Its blood splattered in the road. Sometimes, crapaud's and small snakes were run over in the night as they crossed the highway from field to swamp. End of chapter 10.